Okay, all right, cool, cool. I can hear you clear. Okay, all right. So, without further ado, let us just start our session for tonight. But first of all, I would like to thank Rainbow for being with us tonight to join us in this session. So I think for time to time for funding societies, we will be conducting such live session to interact with our audience, and also this is part of our financial literacy and educational program that we're doing virtually. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everyone out there for being with us. So if you guys have any question when we were discussing about this topic, feel free to just say put up your comment so that we would be able to have a look at it and we will address it accordingly. Hi Liana. Hi Aldrich. Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah, I could see that there are a few more people joining us. So yeah, maybe we can just go ahead and start the session. So my name is Amirul Muhammad. You can call me Am. I'm the moderator for today's session. So and as you are all aware, with me now is Rainbow, our guest speaker for today.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We're so glad for you to be able to join us today. And I think, yeah, let's go ahead because for today, we are going to discuss about saving or investing for the future. So I think before that, maybe I can just ask you to share with us a little bit about yourself and what you have been working on for maybe for the past couple of weeks. Yep.
First and foremost, thank you so much, Amiru, and also Funding Societies for inviting, me to join this live session. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in into this live. Means a lot to me and, of course, to Funding Societies. So my name is Rainbow, and I started my investment journey when I was 20 years old. Bought my first property in Puchong, Selangor. And then after that, I continue investing into other asset classes. So right now, currently, what I'm doing is professionally, I'm working as a HR in Penang.
Ah,
So
okay.
these past few weeks have been quite productive because I needed to work on new policies and practices for the company.
Okay, that's cool. And you said at the age of 20 you bought your first property, right? I couldn't even
Yeah.
remember where I was when I was 20 years old. If you don't mind sharing, how old are you now?
The woman's age is a bit sensitive right now. But
Uh,
I am below 30, still have a few years before I hit 30 years old.
I see. Yeah, we're not too far. We're not too far. I still consider myself below 30 years old, even though I'm way beyond that. Okay, all right. So yeah, I can see there are quite a number of people with us already. But once again, I would like to just let you guys know that if you have any questions, feel free to just drop them in the comment section. We will have our moderator, Nash, who is handling our FS moderator account, will be answering to your questions and in the comment section. But we have special prizes because we have also promoted this on our invitation poster where we will select the best two questions and we will give them Starbucks voucher each. It's RM50 ringgit voucher. So yeah, go ahead, ask us question. We will select the best question and you would win the 50 ringgit voucher for tonight. So keep them coming. All right. Okay. So I think yeah, let's go to the first part of the session because we have two parts of the session for tonight. So I would like to ask you, uh, what is your take on saving and investing? Because as a person, as an individual, I think these two are considered habits. So we would like to deep dive deep into what are your thoughts when it comes to both of these habits.
Okay, I think this question is so important, saving and investing. So to illustrate this point clearly, I'll share a story. So what really happened during the pandemic? Is a widespread of virus, bacteria, people cannot go out, etc. So the COVID-19 pandemic has really affected our lives. Yeah, we
Yeah.
hear of families living in old cars near the petrol station. We hear of people being forced to eat noodles like ramen just to survive. Students not able to go to school. So these are like minor cases, at least people are still
Mm.
trying to live. And then the major cases is when it even involves committing suicide. So do you remember during COVID-19, first 6 months, it was still okay. People are still, kind of struggling and trying to cope. But when it hit a year and a half, no job, no income, no savings, you hear and you see the news that people start committing suicide, not just for themselves, but also for their families. Why? It's primarily due to insufficient finances. So how long was the pandemic? So pandemic is around 2 years, approximately 2 years. Right now,
Yeah.
still kind of, but the major one was 2 years. And then how
Yeah.
much savings do people usually have?
Yeah.
Around 6 months.
Correct.
So do you see the gap? I when I share this, I hope people really see the gap of how much we think savings is enough.
Mm.
6 months emergency fund, or but when a crisis hits, the crisis will not tell you like, hey, my crisis is going to just hit for 6 months, so you'll be good.
Yeah.
And when crisis hits,
Correct.
the length of crisis vary. So and then another story, yeah. So Amirul, what do you think? Is 100K a lot? 100,000 ringgit?
Mm. I think it's a bit relative. So if I were to be given 100 ringgit, 100,000 ringgit to be spent, I don't know, for 3 days is a lot. But if I were to spend 100,000 ringgit for 3 years, maybe it's still a lot. But yeah, comparing the relativity between those two, yeah, it's quite subjective.
You're right. You're right. So actually, many people who retire with 100,000, they are very scared. Why?
Correct. Correct.
You're 60 years old and you retired with 100,000 in your bank account. Let's say your basic monthly expenses with your family, total is 3,000. So
Mm.
100,000 can only last you 3 years.
Mm. Yeah.
And then after 3 years, your 100,000 becomes zero. The time, you're 63 already.
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
so what if you live until 80? What happens?
Yeah. Then I don't know.
So, so a lot of retirees actually, even when they retire, they are scared to retire. They are scared because they know they have no other option. They cannot retire. They have to go back to
Mm.
work just to sustain their basic livelihood. So
Yeah.
that's the main issue with only savings. So when we ask the question, savings versus investment, I hope this gives us a better understanding that when crisis hits, savings cannot tahan long enough.
Mm.
Secondly, with a big lump sum, when you retire, unless you live 1,000 ringgit per month, then you can at least stretch until 9 years.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Correct, correct, correct. And I think based on what you are sharing, right? Um, I think fundamentally both saving and investing, they are both important concepts of building to a certain level financial security, right? But actually they are not the same thing. because when we talk about saving versus investing, there is actually some level of risk involved, right? And like what you said, if we save, because we understand that the level of risk is typically low, and sometimes there's no risk at all, right? And when we are investing, we are actually allowing the opportunity for the money, the amount of money that we put in for the investment to grow. But then there's a catch behind that, because there's a risk of losing the money in order for us to do so, right? So maybe that would lead me to my next question, because I really like when you try to put it into perspective on how much money do we need when we want to retire, right? So that is essentially setting up goal, because then we would roughly know how much do we want for us to comfortably retire. So I want to ask you a question. uh, for you, how do you set your financial goals? And I mean, if you can share a little bit about your tips being successful in setting up your financial goal, that would be great, because I think most of our audience would like to know from this sharing session.
So, okay, for me personally, uh, you're right, Amiru, when you said, savings, investments, the fundamental thing for investments is to first have savings. Without savings, you
Mm,
cannot invest.
correct, correct. Yeah.
So when you have a fund already, what's the next level? How do you invest? What's your financial goal? Right? This is what we are going to talk about. When we think about financial goal, first you need to understand three things:
Mm,
yourself personally. Secondly, what's your lifestyle like?
mm,
Huh?
mm,
And then thirdly, what kind of asset classes are you looking at?
mm.
So these
Correct,
are two
correct.
things. So before we um, move into investing, first we need to understand ourselves, our personality. Are we a risk taker? Are we someone who can invest and sleep soundly at night? So this will come into effect. What kind of investments you will make? Next one is your lifestyle. How much do you actually spend? How much do you keep? So
Mm,
if you are someone who earns 50,000 and you spend everything, I can assure you when you earn 20,000, you will also spend everything.
yeah, correct, correct.
Because it
Yeah.
is a habit already of spending. And then
Mm,
thirdly, the different asset classes. You have to think what are your different asset classes that you are more comfortable investing in. So when you
mm,
set a financial goal, okay, how to set a financial goal?
mm,
Understand yourself, know your lifestyle, and then know the asset classes, and then build a passive income. For me, doing passive income, one mindset that I have, I just discussing with a
I think the line is a
so
bit
he said get
choppy.
okay, he has set aside 12,000. So my saving thousand go to, can you hear me?
Now can, but just now we lost you for a few seconds. Yeah, I think, yeah,
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
think it's okay.
Okay.
We'll
Sorry,
come
I'll
back
just
to.
so
Mm,
your mindset of how you look into things. I just realized there's this big difference of how investor thinks and how someone who just saves things. Let me tell you
mm,
the difference. So when I
mm,
was discussing with a friend, he said or he has put out 1,000 ringgit per month for rent. So for 1 year, 12,000, he put it aside. So that just for, so he feels burdened already. I feel burdened that I will not be out of the house for 1 year. I have a safe place. And then for itself, I always look if income 1,000 ringgit. I will ways of how to make passive income. Let's say buy property, buy stocks, or even invest with funding societies. How can I make enough that 1,000 ringgit of those passive income go to rent?
Yeah.
Then it will not affect. No, it will not affect. For me, how I build my cash flow. If I want something, I build it more.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
So when we talk about financial goals, I think we will focus also on part.
Yeah. I think I got lost. We lost the connection for a while. Yeah. I really like when you try to put it that way, Rainbow. So it's the passive income, and yeah, and if they have like a better option for them to use their passive income to grow, I think that would be best, right? So my next question to you would be, when you mentioned just now, what are the asset classes, right, that we need to consider when it comes to investing? So for you, because we would also like to know about your experience being with funding societies, and how is it so far when it comes to investing with us? Maybe just your personal experience that you can share briefly.
Okay, thank you. I'm so in love with funding societies. So, are you able to hear me? Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. It's
Okay.
better. Yeah, I can
I,
really hear that you love to be investing with funding societies.
I
Can you
love
explain a
funding.
little bit further?
I honestly just love funding societies. Talking about my personal experience, I started off with properties.
Mm,
At age 20, I don't know, I got the guts, the guts to go and buy a property at age 20, and then I experienced tenant issues, a lot of tenant issues, and then um this forms fix all this kind of nonsense. Then after that, tenant cannot fulfill the term. At that point of time, COVID had kind of started happen. I was actually working abroad, and then a total time zone, literally in the middle of the night. It's morning here in
mm,
Malaysia, and then at night in where I was working at, had to call me. Ayo, tenant want to move out, blah blah blah, COVID lah.
yeah.
I tell you, the stress, I'm not able to sleep. I have to, wow. And
Yeah.
then, and then, you know, when you want to invest into something, the first part of investing is always the nicest part. Oh, it's property located at this area with this and that. Oh, very
Mm,
nice. The hard part is actually tenant management and also to sell. So when and then for stocks, it's so volatile, up and down, up and down. So when I first came to know about funding societies, I was like, "Oh, let's go, let's go," because it was so easy. I could just manage my fund out of a device with Wi-Fi,
mm.
and then there's this guaranteed investment notes, which we will I hope we about it a little bit more later,
Yeah, yeah.
which the company actually guarantees principal and interest. It takes away my risk. I don't have to deal with tenants. If it's funding societies, I don't have to deal with market swings. It's reasonable, consistent returns. I don't know where else to find this kind of investments.
Okay,
So
all right, cool.
um
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe we go a little bit further on the product benefits and product details later. But before that, I just want to slot in some ads. So, to those of you who are watching us today and who are new to investing with funding societies, actually for tonight until the end of September, we have a special promotion going on. So, anyone who register as the new investor through Rainbow's unique code will be getting RM50 ringgit cashback, provided that you guys follow the terms and condition. But that's a gift that we are giving out to the newbie investors for our special promotion with Rainbow. Yeah. So, Rainbow, coming back to your experience with funding societies, right? So I believe that after you have gone through several circumstances with the different kind of asset portfolios and different kind of investment, right? So there must be like certain things that you consider before actually making an investment, especially with the new platform such as funding societies, right? Because I believe Funny Society was also new to you back then. But I would like to just ask you, um, for you, what are the most important things to consider before making any kind of investment?
You know, since we are talking about investments, before making any investments, the investing itself is only 20%. The actual 80% is preparation, is knowing what you want to do. The investing itself very easy, just bank in, just write a check, that's all. But the 80%, the preparation part is the most vital one. So let me share with you. It's easier if I tell you, hey, invest in this, invest in that. But how do you want, as your own investor, how do you want to prime yourself to look for the right opportunities to invest? So the first thing first is understand your finances. So before you start investing, you really have to sit down and go through your financial situation properly. How much is your basic living expenses, car loan, student loan, credit card loan, etc.? How much emergency funds do you have? How much are you setting aside on a monthly basis to grow your funds for investing? That's very, very important, yet many people neglect. Many people neglect. They invest and then after that they know, oh shoot, I don't have enough to eat this month. So you don't really want to go into that situation. So you have to first know yourself. Secondly, know what you want, your investment goals. So all classes are very different in liquidity, risk, uh, holding power, rate of returns, etc. So some investments are more liquid than others. So funding societies, I would say quite liquid. Quite liquid. When you have money in your balance, you can withdraw. If you compare it with a property, when you want to sell a property, minimum is around a year to sell to complete the transaction. So you have to know your first one, know yourself. Second, know your goals. Third one, know your not super high risk. You have to understand which risk are you willing to take, and this will guide you in understanding your investment strategy. And next one, fourth one, diversify your investments. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. So include different asset categories in your portfolio. So during certain market waves, so one of the assets that perform better is help to cover the one that's not doing so well. And then last but not least, always always do not go with the trend, the
Mm.
the next hype. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So it's always better to miss out an investment opportunity than to make an irreversible mistake.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Repeat, it's
Yeah.
always better to miss out an investment opportunity than to make an investment irreversible mistake.
Mm. Yep. Yep. I think that's very important because in the end of the day, right, we are trying to achieve our financial goals, but also at the same time, you must be very cautious and careful because in the end of the day, it's our the money that we got when we put all the hard work together, right? So we don't want to lose it. I really like it. So if I can summarize, right, I was just taking notes just now. So you mentioned 5 tips. The first one is to know yourself, right? Second is know your goals. Third is to understand the investment risk. Fourth is to diversify. And the last one is to not follow the trend. Okay, all right. That's really good tips that we have over there, especially to everyone who is watching. So you can listen to these tips. And before we move on to the next question, I'm seeing a lot of questions being addressed by our moderator. Thank you so much, Nash. And yeah, so while all those questions are answered, right, I would like to also share with you that our Starbucks voucher giveaway are still going on. See, I have this Starbucks card with me over here. So we're giving away two piece of our M50 ringgit vouchers from the best comment for tonight. So keep commenting and keep asking your questions over there so that we can see and pick the best two questions and give this Starbucks voucher to you. Okay? All right. Cool. So coming back to our discussion, right? And I believe I saw one of our audience saying that she is a student. Okay, so we're going back to uh, the investment option for beginner, right? So I would like to ask you specifically about the allocation of money or amount that we could put aside for us to start investing in any kind of portfolio, especially when you are a beginner. So how much would you allocate to invest based on your income as a beginner?
Thanks for the question, Amiru. I think first and foremost, what is most important before we talk about allocation, the percentage of how much income you should allocate.
Mm,
First and foremost, you need to remember that you do not need to be wealthy to invest.
mm,
You do not
mm,
need to be wealthy to invest. Quite the opposite. To be wealthy, you need to invest. So
yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you are already having starting a job as a beginner with the basic pay, or even as a student.
Mm,
So when you look at those successful investors, you'll realize that they are successful by starting as a beginner, by starting with nothing. So
mm,
people like, let's say, Warren Buffett, Robert Kiyosaki, they started at
mm,
zero.
yeah.
Even Malaysian investors, Henry Loke, Peter Lim, many of them started at zero. So,
Mm,
so I think it's good, that we remind ourselves that to be wealthy, to gain wealth, having money is not a prerequisite. Having a lot of
mm,
money is not a prerequisite. Having the right mindset is the prerequisite. So I really
mm,
like the question, as a beginner. It kind of means you're young, you're just starting out, correct?
yeah.
So
Young like us,
my
both of
take
us.
on, yeah, if you are 40 and below, you're young. Maybe lah. Anyway, the 20s they will not accept, 40s you're old. Anyway, like for me, I would give an advice, when you are a young person, always be invested. Always be
Mm,
invested. Even if you have a little bit, take out a portion of it. Really research what are the good investments there are, and then invest in it. The issue with being young is we don't have a lot of money, right? So
mm,
find out where to invest, and at the same time, uh, tune a skill. Your skill, something that you are good at, you're passionate at. Fine tune it, and then that's how you gain active income.
yeah, correct,
You
correct.
increase your active income while at the same time increasing your knowledge on investments and then investing.
Mm, yep.
So you need active income, and then you need the passive income side
Mm,
to go on path. So if you're new investments, you're a beginner, you can start saving and investing, let's say 20% of your income if possible. If that's
mm,
not possible, start with 1%.
mm,
Start with 1%, then after that, the next one start with, go to 2, go to 3. Always
mm,
go according to how you can, stomach it, and then slowly grow from it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good point because it doesn't matter how big the allocation that we put aside for the investment, right? As long as you have the right mindset to start investing whatever amount that you have. And I really like when you try to put it this way that um, we don't I mean we don't need to be wealthy to start investing. We invest because we want to go towards that direction, right? And in the end of the day, I think it's a learning process also. So you try different portfolios and you get different kind of results. So it's a learning process along the way, and and as long as we know that we are heading towards the healthy long-term returns, then it's all that matters, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. And maybe we will go next to my next question, which still related to the investment goals. Okay. Because just now in the early of our discussion, we discussed a little bit about our investment goals. But I would like to ask you personally, when it comes to creating your investment goals, right? do do you look for safety, less risky, or high growth? Yeah, because I think it's resonate to one of the questions asked by our audience as well. High yield, low risk, high risk, high yield. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Actually, this is a very tricky question. A very tricky question. Because I was just talking with one of my colleagues today. So I said, I was telling him, hey, I have this TikTok live tonight. Maybe we can, listen to it, and then start your investments with funding societies. And then he just put in a question. I think 15% per year is too little. I'm looking at 300% per year.
Oh wow.
So then that's how you kind of gauge, some people personality wise, and what's their motive when they come to investment. I'm not saying it's not right. No, am I saying I'm right? No. I'm saying there's a difference in views regarding investments.
Mm,
For him, investments means making quick money, very quick money. Uh, making money that can multiply by 500% within 3 months or 3 years or something. When you want that kind of investments, what are those what are those asset classes that you want? You
Mm,
usually would go for very high risk, very high
mm,
risk.
mm,
And then on the other hand, there are people called the value investors.
mm,
Value investors do not look at quick returns, high returns, quick in and out. We look for invest investments that actually create value. And we believe that when the investments have value, creates value, helps more people, helps the community, helps the companies, then we will
mm,
receive uh, our investment returns. So,
mm.
first you need to identify, which kind of
Yeah,
person you are. Then
yeah,
there
yeah.
you you will also approach investments very differently. So when it
Mm,
comes to investment goals, for me, there are three rules. Very simple one.
mm,
First rule: do not be greedy. When you are greedy,
mm.
you are losing money already.
Correct, correct.
You are very prone to falling into trap.
Mm,
Second rule is never lose money. When you lose your
mm,
principal, it's very hard to gain back that principal through
mm,
investments unless you want to do it through active income. Yeah. First one,
mm.
don't be greedy. Second rule is do not lose money. Then third rule is do not forget these first two rules. Very simple, huh?
I love it.
Very
Yeah, I love these tips. Yeah, the three
yeah.
tips.
So when you come up with investment goals, it has to be something tangible.
Mm,
So when you look for quick returns and a very short period of time, usually I mean the time, unless um you're okay with frauds, you're okay with losing your capital, you're okay with even cheating other people's money, then it might be I don't know lah. But for me, no, I want to make investments and able to sleep at night, and I want it to
mm,
be beneficial for other people.
mm.
So when it
Yeah.
comes, yeah, that's more of my take.
Mm. Okay. Right. Yeah. Very cool. I really love it when you put it that way. Understand yourself. Understand the value that you want to put in. Because it will make a whole lot of difference, right? And maybe just a brief description of funding societies and how we operate as the digital investing platform and also SME financing platform, because we have two sides of I would say ecosystem that we're providing for, right? So we have the SME side who will be needing financing for them to grow their business. And we also have the investor segment who would want to seek for opportunity to grow their wealth. So how do we want to connect these two parties together so that in the end of the day we provide values for the societies? Yeah, staying true to our name, funding societies, as an enabler to these both segments. Okay, cool. And I'm going back to the tips that you shared just now. The first tip is do not be greedy. The second tip is never lose money. And then the third tip is don't forget these two tips, right? So maybe about losing money, right? And you mentioned briefly about how not to lose your principal, because essentially, if you lose your principal, you lose your money, right? So, I would like to know, for you, right? How would you choose an investment portfolio that would fit you the best, so that you don't, like what you said, do not be greedy, and you still retain your principal when you are investing. So how do you choose an investment portfolio?
This question is closely tied to the previous question. So
Mm,
how do I choose a portfolio that would be most beneficial to me as an individual investor, right?
mm, yeah, yeah.
Mm, of course, you really got to know yourself. I'm not someone who's okay with high risk, high returns.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
more of a person who minimizes risk to zero if possible and maximizing the gains. It's a very different approach. High risk, high returns, but possibly losing all of your principles. Me,
mm,
low risk, maximize returns. That's my
mm,
approach. So
yeah.
how do I choose an investment portfolio?
Mm,
First and foremost, the investment itself must create value. If it's something that does not create value, it just takes time before it realizes that it has no value and it will.
mm, mm,
uh,
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you want to know whether this investment is going to be good, is going to be something that's making you money,
Mm,
understand whether this investment or asset or company is actually giving value.
mm,
If it's not, run. Huh?
mm, mm.
Um,
Yeah, we're here to stay. We're not running.
so I think for funding societies, what made me really invest into funding societies is first understanding the business structure of how funding
Mm,
societies work.
yeah, yeah.
If you are an investor, if you cannot understand the investment or the business or the company, do not invest into
Mm,
it. It has to be articulated as simple as possible
yeah.
with clear steps of how the business is running. You have to
Mm,
truly understand it, then only you invest. If it's all flowery words, then don't
mm,
invest. Because your money
mm.
also will become flower. Huh?
It will be fresh and beautiful for quite some time, and then it will wilt.
So what interested me to invest in funding societies? Amiru, you can share a bit later, yeah. Uh, First,
Mm,
I see that FS is a company that is registered with SC. So it gives me a lot of
mm,
assurance. Secondly, it is a company that helps SMEs with micro lending. So it's not,
mm,
it works as, like helping the business while tying investors creates
mm.
a good flow.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, I further understand how funding societies actually chooses the business, and the business or the there are like different types of guaranteed investment notes, accounts payable, and things like that. So how they choose their investments, it gives me a lot of assurance that this is a good investing strategy, is a good investment, and that's how
Mm,
I put in quite a bit of my capital into FS.
mm, yeah. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's good to know that we actually provided some comfort level for you as an investor to actually come and join funding societies and actually invest with funding societies because you see the value and then you see the brand promise that we could provide the investor like you. Okay, that's good. Um, I think maybe we can go next to the product that we briefly shared earlier on the guaranteed returns, right? So because this is closely related to the guaranteed uh, return investment. I would like to ask you on your thoughts on guaranteed investment.
So, personally, all all investments have their risk. I mean, not personally, but in general. In general, all investment have its risk. It comes
Yeah.
in different types. But when I first heard about guaranteed investment notes, I was very fascinated. I was even more fascinated by how the structure came. It's very rare to find this in the market. Even when you buy a property, you cannot guarantee that in front there will not be, a cemetery or like a highway right in front of you. There's no guarantee. Yeah. So when funding societies came up with guaranteed investment notes, I was very excited, very fascinated. And
Mm,
that's why I allocated some of my funds specifically for guaranteed investment notes. So there are two things that really help me and enjoy guaranteed investment notes. And then the
mm,
third one bonus why I enjoy FS. First one is guaranteed investment notes is the principal and interest is guaranteed. How like it
yeah.
my risk and defaults is well taken care of already, and the interest is guaranteed. Usually, um, your interest is not guaranteed, and if you can get
Mm,
back your principal, it's already good nah, good.
yeah.
So right now, FS is actually, with this GIN notes, is guaranteeing my principal and interest.
Mm,
Secondly, with GIN notes, I realized that I am being paid. The repayment is on a monthly basis. So when I am paid on a monthly basis, I will use whatever that I have received, both principal plus interest, to reinvest again. That's how the compounding effect comes. Even though FS does not promise compounding effect, but when we as investors, when we reinvest our interest, it becomes compounding effect. So
mm,
I'm glad
yeah.
to see that my account has been growing very healthily, and I hope it stays that way. Giving you pressure. I hope my
Yeah.
account stays healthy. So
Yeah.
the third thing about funding society is that I absolutely love, is that FS actually gives me as an end user, the investor, the power to make choices which one to invest
Mm,
with by reducing the hassle of going through like tenant management, this
mm,
break, that
yeah.
break need to fix. Then if it stocks volatility, if you're someone who cannot take in volatility, go for something that's more reasonable and
Mm,
consistent.
mm, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I always tell my TikTok uh followers, hey, I'm not paid by funding societies as a marketing team. I don't get salary one.
Yeah, but it's good that we have this sharing session because then we will be able to compile your thoughts together, which is also good for the newbies out there to understand a lot more about funding societies and what are the products that we have to offer, and especially knowing that you are also an investor with funding societies, at least it could provide some comfort to the newbies to actually try out and invest with our platform. Okay, cool. I think maybe we can go to the Q&A session based on the questions that we have from our audience for tonight. Mm, let me see, because our team has helped us to compile all the questions, so I will just read it from the list of questions that we have throughout the session. Okay. All right. So I think uh, The first question comes from Kelly underscore UWU, Kelly Uwu. Okay, so the question is, if I am a full-time student, is it risky to get into Fadi societies? Is it beneficial for us? So maybe we hear your thoughts a little bit, Rainbow, on this is, I think, going back to how suitable it is funding societies product, especially the granted investment note to the newbies. So what are your thoughts? What could you share with Kelly?
First, I want to share with funding societies. You guys should have started 10 years ago so that I could invest with funding societies when I was a student. But you guys were not there. That's why I have to invest in property, you see.
Uh,
So, so if you know, like if I go back a few years ago, and if I was Kelly, if I am Kelly, I'm still studying.
mm,
I guess I would first invest in funding societies before investing in properties. Why?
mm,
When I look back when I was 20 years old, properties investing in properties is not so easy, not so clear cut.
mm, mm.
Funding
Yep.
societies is an easier approach to investing, especially for newbies. When
Mm,
if you're studying. So for me, I would have invested with funding societies first if you guys were, present 10 years ago. But anyway, um, I would say that funding societies is a great company to invest in. So, um, of course, I'm not saying you should put in 100%. You
mm,
always need
mm.
to diversify your assets, but make funding societies your first income source. You can say, my first income source comes from investment rather than my active income, and then it's
Ah,
from
okay.
funding. Yeah. I mean, I would invest in, I would encourage Kelly to invest with funding societies.
Mm, mm. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you so much, Rimbo. Yeah, unfortunately we couldn't be here because we are only in Malaysia 5 years back because this year we actually celebrated our 5th year anniversary. But in the region we have been operating for 7 years already. So yeah, we're here to stay. And yeah, just adding on to what great answer that Rainbow has shared to answer Kelly's question, right? And I think it has been shared by our FS moderator as well. Because with Funding Society, first of all, it's just a disclaimer that there is always risk involved when it comes to any type of investment. But it goes back to the kind of asset profile and also the kind of investment that you put in. So with Funding Society, regardless on how do you want to start investing with the platform or on the platform, you can start investing as low as 100 ringgit. And now, since we are offering guaranteed investment, you can have a look on our website. Just search guaranteed investment note and look through the product information, and then you will be able to start investing with us immediately. Because the investing platform that we have are offered on both mobile app and also desktop, which makes investing a lot more convenience at your comfort. So you can try to do that, and yeah, hope to see you soon, Kelly, as part of our investors. All right, maybe second question before we end tonight's session. Uh, all right, the next one is from Jimmy Four. The question is, can FS meet the high yield, low risk, high liquidity of the golden triangle at the same time? Okay. All right. For this one, maybe Rainbow would like to answer first.
an amazing thing, high high return rates, right? High liquidity, and one more high what?
High yield, low risk, high liquidity.
High yield, low risk, high liquidity.
Mm,
So every asset has its percentage of risk,
mm,
returns on investments, and also its liquidity.
mm,
So for FS, I think it is reasonable
mm,
in this triangular thing.
mm,
It's the risk. We talk about the risk first. First, the risk is much lower than many other asset classes. Secondly, the returns, I would say it's reasonable and very consistent.
mm,
And then liquidity wise, if you already know this is something that you want to invest in, you have a that like the sheet, the fact sheet has already
yeah,
shared with you, how
yeah,
long this will be. It is something that you can kind of plan.
mm,
So I would say it's a fundamentally good investment. And then one added feature, especially for FS, is the starting point. You can start with
mm,
as low as 100 ringgit. So if you take 100 ringgit and you try to buy a property, it's impossible. You know? Or even
yeah,
with stocks, 100 ringgit, like
mm,
or 100 ringgit FD, how I cannot lah. So funding societies has really excelled in all these areas with risk, with returns, with liquidity, and then this added
mm,
feature of starting at a very low point,
yeah,
low entry point. So uh, for me as an investor, I would say this is very good.
mm, mm. Okay, yeah. Maybe just adding on to what Rainbow has shared also. So, at funding societies, we do offer a wide range of products, depending on the appetite and also the risk level that you are comfortable with. Because the range of products that we have has various tenure up to 24 months with different interest rate and different risk level depending on your investment goals as an investor, right? So, uh, different individuals have their personal definitions of high yield, low risk, and high liquidity. Because I think for Rainbow, what you treasure or value the most is the consistency and the reliable return. So, ask yourself what kind of investment fit your investment goals. Then you'll be able to go back to Funding Society's platform and you will be able to see the multiple range of investment products and different kind of investment notes that are available for you to start investing with. Yeah, if you have more questions, particularly on the technical terms and technical parts of investing, what you can do is you can reach out to us via our live chat on our website and our team will be very happy and we will be very glad to assist you further. All right. Yeah, I think we have come to the end of the session. All right. Thank you so much, Rainbow, for staying with us for 1 hour on a Thursday night. Yeah, it's so good that we have this kind of sharing session. And to all the audience, I hope all your questions are answered. And if you have further questions regarding our products and how does it work for funding societies to be able to share with you those kind of returns, feel free to get in touch with our customer experience team on the app or also web platform to get further details. So, as promised, we are going to announce the two winners for today's session. So the first winner is Kelly underscore Uwu. Congratulations, you got yourself a 50 ringgit voucher, a Starbucks voucher. And our second winner is Jimmy Four. Yeah, Congratulations again, and thank you for staying with us until the end of the session and asking us the questions. You guys have been very helpful in making this conversation and sharing session more lively and more engaging. All right, I would like to thank you so much again to Rainbow for sharing with us many useful tips and your knowledge, especially when people know that you have been with funding societies and you also have other asset portfolios that you are also managing, right? But you choose to stay with us and to advocate about us nicely to the fellow investors. Do you have any last words that you would like to share before we end the session?
Thank you so much, Amirul, and thank you, Funding Societies, once again for having me. So, if you are watching this live right now, I encourage you to know yourself, know your finances, plan, and most importantly, to take action to invest. All this talk is good, great, but it's not as important and crucial as taking action. So if you want to start investing with funding societies, feel free to reach out to me or to the team. We will try our best to help you with the registration process.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. We hope that we were able to answer all your questions. So if we did not answer your question, feel free to just reach out to us, have a chat via our website www.fundingsocieties.com.my. And yeah, to our audience, just a reminder, if you have not registered as an investor with funding societies, you are missing out because you can start registering yourself today by visiting the link on our social media platform. And the special thing about tonight's session is when you use Rainbow's code for the registration, you'll be able to get our M50 ringgit cashback. So the code is, let me see, the code is FS Rainbow. So you can start register yourself with FS Rainbow and start your investing experience and investing journey with us. Thank you so much. Don't forget to follow our TikTok account, Funding Societies My, where we share all the updates on our events, the promotions, and also the relevant investor related content to guide you through your investment journey. So we will end the session now, and I hope you guys will stay safe, take care, and enjoy the rest of the night. Till next time, see you. Thank you so much, Rainbow.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Amiru.
thank you, everyone. Bye bye.